Major Mohammed Shah and many others live with us. I'm going to start first of all with you, Major Shah. Latest news coming in, of course, that Govt has fled to Maldives. What next do you see for Sri Lanka?
Very little chance actually to come out of the recovery, but it will. Eventually it will, because it has support of elder brothers like India. We are there for them. But yes, when the president flees from there, he signed the resignation letter post-dated by a day and says that, okay, I will leave. If my family and I are given safe passage to escape from here, then I'll resign, and then I'll hand over my resignation letter. And now at the same time, the Prime Minister actually rather, the Prime Minister Vikram Singhe, he throws his hat in the ring to be the president as well, apart from the opposition leader, and there are various speculations going on. Now, an all-party interim government is the need of the hour, so that everyone is happy at the moment, everyone is satisfied, and they work towards a common cause of bailing out Sri Lanka from the mess that they are into. This is not the time to politicize it. A lot of political parties over there, they are only interested in their chair. You saw when they ransacked the presidential palace and the Prime Minister's residence, the kind of cash flow and the underground bunker they found for his emergency escape route and a lot of other things. So most certainly, now when the IMF also cannot do much in this case, what has to happen is Sri Lankans have to realize it. They have to join hands together. They have to come out of this. They are all in the same boat, all on the same island rather, I would say. And they all have to come out together, and it has to be from international community. The Western powers are too busy helping out Ukraine. IMF is too busy involved with Ukraine. So they don't have to count on anybody else, like the way India's Atmanirbhar. So they have to ultimately look at Japan. They rose from the ashes after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Thereafter, when Hiroshima and Nagasaki was nuked with atomic bombs, they rose from the ashes and look where they are today. And people said they will never be able to come out of those crises. But they did. And like how? So Sri Lanka will, I have a feeling, I am a very optimistic thinker, they will come out of this crisis. But then when the president escapes, just like in Afghanistan, we saw the president escaping and we saw the people taking over the presidential palace. But those were terrorists, those were illiterate, uncultured. Here they are cultured people, educated people, and they have to realize that
you're right about that. Of the moment is to bring political stability. There are, of course, many candidates who have shown interest in wanting to be the next Prime Minister or the President of Sri Lanka. But the focus as of now is on Wickremesinghe. If at all he becomes the president, even for an interim period, is that going to be acceptable to the people of Sri Lanka? That's the big question. But again, Major Shah, I'm sure you'd like to come in here. India has made it absolutely clear, and we are reflecting that on our screens as well. We've now got access to the entire statement which has been issued by the Indian High Commission, that India had no hand in facilitating Rajapaksa's exit from the country, whether he goes to Maldives or any other nation. It's a personal decision. India has no hand to play in it. Major Shah.
Absolutely right. India has no hand in that. And why would India facilitate his escape from Sri Lanka? I don't understand. So even if people speculate that, no, it would be wrong completely, and you are 100% right. Now, it's a different thing. If he takes refuge in there are a lot of Indians in Maldives, in fact, who are doing very well, who own hotels and resorts, and if he takes refuge in an Indian, coincidentally, again, it has nothing to do with the Indian government, nothing to do with any of the Indians. No, we're not even aware that where he's taken refuge in. And most certainly, but our sentiments are with Sri Lanka, not with the president or the prime minister or with Sri Lanka as a country, as a nation as a whole. And the president over there who is being opposed, he is not the Sri Lanka. First. Secondly, whether Wickremesinghe's to a candidateship to the president, and even if he does become, will that be acceptable? It would not be. When people are, it was not that people are opposing him to be the Prime Minister. People were opposing his leadership. Like there's a difference between a boss and a leader. The Sri Lankan government obviously has behaved like a boss and not as a leader. A true leader would lead the way. Like, you know, a boss says I, a leader says we. A boss says get there on time. A leader says let's get there together ahead of time. A boss knows how it is to be done. A leader shows how it is to be done. A boss lets his people know where he stands. A leader lets his people know where they all stand. a boss takes the credit, a leader gives it away. So Sri Lankan government was only a government which was actually fulfilling their own personal interest. At that time, the Shinge brothers, the Rajapaksa brothers, they affinity, their closest towards China. They didn't value the sentiments of their public, and see what happened. Not justifying what the public did over there, very wrong. They should not have taken the law in their hands. But that shows the anger of the people. I mean, burning up the state leader's house, not acceptable.
Well, exactly. I thank all the guests. It's a wrap on this bulletin.